If you focus on move by move profitability and you're treating every single transaction as if like it's your ability to eat for that day, you're ultimately going to start to make wrong decisions. And I think it's pretty pointless. Like, I think it's a completely pointless action.
It's Movified Mondays. It's Movified Mondays, where mindset meets momentum.
Welcome to Movified Mondays. This episode is electrifying. Have you ever wanted to sit in a fireside chat? Have you been to a conference that you thought, man, I wish I could just have this one-on-one conversation with so-and-so or this particular moving company owner? Right now, I want you to join me as we start with Brian Slater in a fireside chat where he sits with other moving company owners explaining this 17-step process. I have no idea. There's so many different stages and steps that he wants to dive into. And I'm excited to share with you a behind the scenes filming that we did with Brian Slater as he sat in this fireside group chat. And it was at the Built to Move conference in Worcester, Ohio, at the Built to Move that was brought to you by Tim Krupp. And we're about to dive right into it. So stay tuned. This is one of those personal Monday episodes that we have not started yet. We have 3 of these coming up back to back, and we're excited to share with you. Roll the tape.
A big thing for me was like learning to review the P&L as a monthly and yearly thing, instead of some people that I see on MCOU being like, I don't want to refund this customer $100 for their broken TV. And then I'm like, well, why? And then like, well, we only made $150 on the move. And I was like, if you focus on move by move profitability and you're treating every single transaction as if like it's your ability to eat for that day, you're ultimately going to start to make wrong decisions. And I think it's pretty pointless. Treating profitability on a move by move basis, it's kind of like clicking Google 1,000 times and just waiting for your rank to refresh. Like, I think it's a completely pointless action. Don't expand too soon. I think I've told people like, pick up a quarter in your backyard before you go across the street for a dime. I think there was like an influencer in this space before that was like, hey, do 1 million revenue at each one of these locations. And like, trust me, there's some $1 million markets that people work in this place. But like, I think we probably could have gotten to 50. Eric could probably get to 25 in Atlanta. So there's all these big markets. The idea of diluting and opening up those locations, I think is just like, I felt like it was harder for me to manage somebody that was across the street and then like down the block. And I felt like it became incrementally harder the further away that people were. Love the VA route, but we had like 43 people in the office up until 2023. A lot of the stuff that we were doing was like pre-automations, pre-AI. And I think that if you figure out a lot of this stuff, there's so many roles that we were paying $60,000 for somebody to do, when like clearly you can have an autoresponder for your GBP that just like clearly you can use text to speech in order to create a voice agent that's just confirming people's addresses with them. These are roles in Chicago that we are paying like $25 to $32 per hour for. And I don't think that those positions need to exist at all. I think Brock did a great job today. The way that I would interpret like the data that he gave was the way that we were looking at things in the company is like, if we were closing out in February 26th, I would look at January 26th as a meter for how we did month over month. And then I would look year over year, by which how we did last February. I would probably pick like the most important thing I think that we were doing in the late stages of the company where we were writing it for private equity is I think that we were looking for every line item as a percentage of revenue, picking 2 to 3 of those and saying, okay, we're tackling this today. So like hotels were completely out of whack. And we got a hotel engine or an engine card, whatever it's called, hotel engine, and we fixed that. And like, we found out that we had fuel theft 1 month, and then we signed up for A to B. And we were just like working our way down at reducing the cost of, by way of percentage of revenue, sort of month by month, and just picking out 2 things. I saw a lot of questions in the group about like, hey, well, should I go ahead and get this other truck or should I do things like this? And my idea is like, if the market's going to return you 5% on average or 7% as a rate of income, I think for the first 10 years, I put every dollar back into trucks and real estate. And I think within the first 10 years, we were able to get from 1 to 120 trucks because we just never stopped growing in that regards. And I would say that having a truck on if you take the amount of money that you would have put in the market versus a truck and you run that model, I think that you could probably 15x your investment by just continuing to scale down in your business and not worrying so much about the stock market.
Before we ever started using a moving CRM, someone asked me, could you 10x what you're doing right now with the current systems and processes you have in place? And I said no. And so he was like, well, then you need to just pull the trigger on the software. And then I saw Smart Moving and it was game over.
Austin joined thousands of moving owners on Smart Moving in 2021. Since then, he's more than doubled his business.
And I always compare Smart Moving to Apple products. It's just so simple, so easy to use. And that's really what's allowed my team to scale and now have 2 branches. And last year we scaled Central Coast Moving over 50% growth.
If you're ready to turn your moving company into a machine that drives profit, not chaos, try Smart Moving.
If you're considering Snowball, just do it.
Snowball creates done-for-you referral programs for moving companies so you can turn happy customers into new revenue without lifting a finger. And the results speak for themselves.
In less than a year, we've collected over 2,000 referrals.
We generated over $200,000 of revenue that cost about $5,000 to do it.
I believe we had 4 or 5 the very first day.
The companies winning with Snowball are the ones that already care about their customers. We just help turn that into new business through human outreach and customer nurturing.
Snowball is part of the arsenal of tools that I recommend to my clients because it works.
The best ROI source that we had was for GBP. We were optimizing that for about 3,000. We were getting about $250,000 worth of monthly revenue, which is almost like 80% ROI. So I would focus on that 100%. I would say for me, coming back to these things after like being at home for a year and sort of like taking a hiatus with my family, I would remind everybody in the room, like Eric reminds me of this, Steven reminds me of this, like probably like 20 to 50 trucks. After we got up to past 100 trucks, it was more of like, I'm a data analyst. I just look at the P&L all day, and it completely stopped being fun for me. What was really fun was like how I identified with the movers, what I was able to do for them and their families, caring about their kids and how they did on their report cards, renting the Lincoln Park Zoo for our staff. I'm like, that's the stuff that really moved me. And in the later stages, I completely got away from that. So if I ever decide by way of my non-compete to get back into it, I'm definitely going to stay in that range and just continue to have fun, because my life hasn't materially changed since I've sold. There was less happiness that came with running a larger company. So if that's your goal, just make sure that you honestly want it, because it's hard. I wrote a slide called Find Your People. For the first 10 years I ran the company, I didn't speak with another moving company owner at all. And when I say not at all, I mean literally 0 people. So when Steven came to visit my business and I met with Eric for the first time, like there was a lot of days that I cried when I drove home because the work was so hard. And there was a lot of times that, like, I think for 10 years, I didn't take a vacation. I probably gained like 60 or 70 pounds. I was sleeping 4 hours per night because I was just obsessed about the company. I think that finding Steven and finding Eric really helped me. For those guys, what I needed was just to talk about my hardships and that I wasn't the only person in the world that was experiencing those hardships. So for me, it was less about, and me and Eric and Steven do talk like really, really, really technical stuff about moving, but their friendship to me was so much more important than where to buy tape and fuel, that like, it really made me feel like I wasn't alone in the world. I have trouble communicating sometimes, so it really made me feel good.
Hey everyone, Matty Mailers here, the guy who pioneered handwritten letters for the moving industry. Why? Because my competition at my moving company was using the same stock postcards as me, and my mailing company didn't care. So I created a better way. Here's some mind-blowing results in July. Miracle Movers Utah closed $93,000 using our handwritten letter strategy. With our campaigns, you can forget about the guessing games. You get a trackable phone number, daily photo proof, an incredible design team, and I'm also included. All letters stop at me for approval before they ever leave our facility. Right now, Movified listeners get 1,000 golden tickets stuffed in our genuine handwritten letters completely free. Plus, I'm going to throw in bulk realtor data for up to 5 counties. What are you waiting for? MovingLetters.ai. Stop competing, start dominating.
Being found on the second page of Google is literally like having a billboard in the middle of the desert. Your mama ain't gonna see it. No one's gonna see it. You're on the second page of Google, no one's gonna call, no one's gonna book. Here is the deal. if your business is not ranking on the top of Google, that means your competitors are going to be stealing your customers every single day. So at Rotate Digital, we don't play any guessing games. We use data-driven SEO strategies to make sure Google finds you first so that these Google searches turn into your customers, not your competitors' customers. How do we do it? We do it through AI-driven keyword optimization, exclusive blog networks, backlinking strategies, and honestly, the secret stuff, the proprietary lead attribution software. So what do you get as a result? You get not only good marketing, but now you get clarity into what is bringing you more revenue. So if that's something you want to do, you want to make sure your leads find you and not your competition, go ahead and go to rotatedigital.com, schedule a call, and we'll help you take your business to the top of Google.
One thing that I wrote here is just, but by show of hands, can I know like who keeps crew members together every day and then who has a bullpen and just like the guys just sort of self-select, or you sort of just figure out how it goes during morning dispatch? I think one of the best things that we did was we had such a multi-diverse staff at New City Moving that most guys were English, Portuguese, Spanish, and sometimes there was communication gaps. What I found is like almost like music is an international language. It was so cool to see how moving was an international language, where like if I was speaking Portuguese and Tim's wife was speaking Spanish and Eric was teaching or speaking English, that we could actually go into a house and identify that this dude is a mouthpiece, so you get the customer and you're wrapping this living room, that this young lady's the best packer that we have, so she's just going to hit the kitchen right away. I'm the foreman and responsible for so much stuff that if there's a wedding ring inside of that bedroom, I want to be the person that packs up that dresser. And I think like keeping those crews together created this camaraderie, and we were actually able to get the claims ratio of the company to sub 3 by having everybody consistently on the same crew every day.
Yeah, but okay, so some of my guys talk about wanting to do that, but what do you do like when there's off days, or you got some guys who grow and become helpers who become foremen?
Yeah, so good question. We have a weekly what we call a roster meeting. We had it once a week. We talk about the entire roster of the company, and then we say, hey, Greg's the new guy. Is he having a good experience with Tim and Eric's crew, or do we need to replace, find a new fit for him, right? So I think we were going through a roster meeting and we were shuffling that deck every week. But once you had a set crew, at one point we were running 56 slots for local and 13 for long distance. My greatest joy was finding crew that worked together and then knowing that I just have them on lock. So I literally give them the iPad in the morning. They literally bring back the money from the iPad. They have less than 3% claims and life is good. So once that crew is on lock, I'm almost never touching that crew. Like, Greg, you need to give me a good reason why it's hot in the truck and like I accidentally brushed up against, like there can't be high school locker things by which like I want to switch my crew. It's like, no, you guys are really fucking good together and I want you guys to go out every day. So we had these roster meetings. We would have all the new guys go into what's called a floater. A floater, once they prove themselves that they're not a box kicker, will effectively be placed on a crew. But there's a certain amount of having to prove yourself as a floater. And then if somebody's sick or something like that, we would have floating drivers. And those floating drivers could replace Greg if he'd had a doctor's appointment, or could replace Eric if he needed to do something. So for every 25 movers, we had one floater. And those floaters would fill in for any one of those missing components that we have. So at our company, we have like a foreman who leads the crew, a driver, and then helpers. The foreman could always be the driver. But since we had some guys that weren't the most eloquent in English, I didn't want to force the person that might have been really good in Mexico as a driver to be the mouthpiece for the crew, because I would be forcing somebody to do something that they were natively or naturally uncomfortable with. And why do that?
Hey, it's Mark with Movified. It is the Dolly Dash quick 5-question questions at the Moving Titan event. And I got Chris Sweet here with Swamp Rabbit, and I got
Preston Burleson.
Speaking up,
Preston Burleson.
With My Town Movers. All right, here we go. Coming to the event, Moving Titan event, who are you here and excited to see?
I'm just here I'm excited to build a network with other movers in the industry and continue to grow together.
I'm just here to kind of listen to everybody and learn a little bit. I was excited to see Chris. Actually got the opportunity to go meet him up at his branch a couple months ago, and really just excited to kind of learn from everybody here. So
I love it. Everybody's trying to grow 2025. What was the biggest catapult that you like made such a huge impact in your business this year? What was like one of the big changes?
You know, we've got a lot more into the restoration world, so we've done a lot in restoration this year. That's probably one of our biggest changes that we've made. So
Mine was building my team to be leaders in charge and not leaders in place.
So good. Everybody packs for these kind of trips. What's the one thing that you wish you packed that you totally forgot in your luggage?
My Speedo.
swim shorts, probably.
Swim shirt. New guys come here every year, right? New moving companies, they want to experience this. What's one piece of advice that you could tell those moving company owners that are coming to the event or maybe want to go to an event next year that they should be applying?
Pick one thing that you take from the event and implement that. Don't try to implement everything you hear.
Yeah, this is our first year, but we're really excited to learn. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth it though. We've made a lot of connections already. Had dinner with a couple guys last night, a big group of guys, and definitely worth it. You know, you're not wasting your money for sure.
I love it. It's been another moment of Dolly Dash.
Hey, it's Mark with Movified, and I'm here to talk about Canada Home Listings. They are the only direct mailer service built specifically for household good movers in Canada. That's right, my hometown. They help moving companies reach homeowners the moment they list their home with proven mail campaigns that drive results. And for the Movified listeners, they're offering exclusive promotions you won't find anywhere else. So go check them out today. Go online, go do your thing, and go find them. Canada Home Listings right now. Go. And then keep watching the show.
And then for every 10 trucks that we had on the lot, we had one truck that was a neutral truck. So just in case we needed to do PMs, we could rotate that one truck in when one of those 10 trucks needed to do a PM throughout the month. And then for every 25 guys that came in, we had what's called a standby, and they would sit in a bullpen in the morning.
For what do you say about standby?
For every 25 guys that we had come in, we had one guy on standby. Earlier on in the company, I don't want to bullshit, it was probably like 3 standbys for every 25 because we just didn't have the right, selection of people that were showing up on time. Like at our company, if you no call, no show, or if you're extremely tardy, you're sitting home for 72 hours. If you do that 3 times in a year, you'll never work here again without a good reason. And we were really, really, really firm with that.
So in the early days, it was 1 for 9. And as your culture got stronger and stronger, it went to 25. I mean, it went to 1 bullpen for every 9. And then it went from 1 every 3.
Eventually, you take out, like in this room, if this were a collection of movers, and maybe 2 people in this room would have that little asterisk over their head. Like, well, they're good, but, you know, Chris Sweet doesn't show up on Sundays because he likes to go play golf. Or, you know, anytime the Cavaliers play, Tim goes out and he doesn't show up to work the next day. So you always have those asterisk folks, and the less of those asterisks that you get, the more that you can depend on your core crew, and the less that you have to depend on no-call, no-shows.
Did you schedule in advance to daily dispatch?
This is the weirdest shit. I don't know another moving company that does this in the world. We would take the sales reps, and the sales reps, as they book the jobs, would fill the schedule. So sales filled the slots. Operations set the movers.
Not that operations does move it around, but yeah, we do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the genius that owns Movies and knows everything about sales is having sales set this. So is that good to, you know,
like publish to the crew as they come?
No, ops will publish it after they doctor it up. But
oh yeah,
those people, we teach them to read dispatch because that's part they need to know that they can squeeze stuff in because ops will block days off, and that doesn't stop them from reading it and be like, I know there's room.
Dude.
Oh,
1000% correct. So sales is setting schedules, finding that little 2-man. Like, dude, we were running. I don't feel bad about it because the dudes definitely wanted it, but we were running guys from 7 a.m. to fucking 9 p.m. all summer long, and they just loved it because they were making a ton of money, and sales was orchestrating all that. So we weren't canceling jobs, we weren't pushing jobs. Like for every about 20 to 25 slots, we had what's called an oopsie slot, and that oopsie would be that Landon and Greg both booked at the same time. And oh shit, Greg was referred to us by a realtor, and Landon, it's his 4th time moving with the company. So we had this oopsie slot. So this way we would never effectively have a cancellation. We never canceled a job in company history because we always had that one crew that was like, in the event of a catastrophic emergency, I don't want 100% of the revenue. I want 95% and no cancellations versus 100% and me not being able to fulfill a move.
What's up, guys? It's Austin Yarrow with the Moving Army. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you're crushing it, you're growing your business, and you don't need any help. Majority of you probably don't. But the thing is that information alone isn't enough. If you're looking for someone to hold you accountable, work with you, and collaborate with others in our industry with teams that are killing it, crushing it, you need to join the Moving Army. This is my invitation to you. You can text my personal cell, 805-441-6118. I'll see you soon and wait for your call. Join the Moving Army today.
Hi, I'm Mark Hirschi with Salmon's Moving and Storage. Today, I want to talk about Tighten Up training. Why? Because this is Netflix grade quality training. It's not those old videos and VHSs that you got hiding in your office somewhere. It's online, it's easy to use, they're short videos, but they get to the point. My new employees, these guys run through these training programs, there's tests at the end, and they're coming out going, oh, I'm ready to rock. So if you haven't checked out Tighten Up training yet, get a demo done. Get on board. Guess what else is there? Online portals for my sales staff. Can you believe it? These guys can learn how to overcome objections and book more leads today. So what are you waiting for? Go check out Tighten Up training today.
Kind of piggybacking off Nikel's question, you had your sales team move the jobs over onto the schedule, but your ops teams put the movers on the jobs and published it. When did they publish it though? What did they publish?
Oh, I know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
So, in regards to letting the movers know what their assignments were, we would give you the assignment somewhere between 7:30 a.m. and noon the day prior to your assignment. Yeah, and we didn't publish the client's identification, the client's phone number, the client's email, any details about the move. You would get that on the cover sheet the day of, like digital cover sheet.
Okay. I'm just curious because our guys are always asking, can I get the job, days ahead or a week ahead? Ask them what trouble. You said I'm asking for trouble. Has you that trouble?
I would say that even in your best effort, and even if you're as well-intentioned as possible, that schedule is so volatile that you can't tell them what's going to happen. You don't have a crystal ball. And then when that schedule changes, it's your fault for saying something that didn't happen. So if that client's adds pack in and they need to shift, if a customer cancels, if somebody told you that they were going to be 2,100 pounds and now they're 5,000 pounds and you need to shift them, you effectively have told somebody something's going to happen. And even though you're not bad intentioned, you've made a liar out of yourself by saying this is going to be your schedule. Hey man, I could have taken my kids to see Gabby's dollhouse today. What are you doing to me?
All right, still got time for like one more question we had. Then our speakers got to rotate. Sorry, and more fell short.
How long do you bring in the floater for, and do you bring more in on Saturday?
Yeah, so the floater gets brought in for 2 hours. We don't hire for warehouse cleaning positions. We don't hire for stacking materials and redding the warehouse. All of that stuff is consumed within the 2 hours. So I'm talking all the way from like the little hand grabber that picks up Snicker wrappers, all the way to like, we need to drop these vaults for the next day, all the way to, we need to clean the inside of the trucks, or we need to get the scrub brushes going during summer when it's kicking up a bunch of dust. All of those functions are consumed within those 2 hour windows.
Okay. And would you bring your in on Saturdays?
We would bring them in 25 to 1. So typically 6 guys or something every day from like Wednesday to Saturday or something. It's a byproduct of how many people are going on the schedule. And really you can set that up as like if you keep a running total of how many guys did I send out today and how many guys did not show up, and you do that practice for the next 90 days, you can equate how many movers are not showing up to how many are typically on the schedule. And you can go ahead and fine tune that as the company continues to grow. But you're looking for that like common denominator of like,
All right. Thank you so much, Ryan. Everybody for